Hey guys, today I'm making a video giving feedback to CactusVPN, but also letting you guys know about the conversation and, how I feel about the VPN itself. They're wondering about some of the things I said about them. Like in this little message here, he's wondering, what exactly don't I like about the user interface? What about it don't I like? Because I've kind of mentioned that in a couple of videos that CactusVPN, one of the things about it that could have improvement is just like the way it looks and feels. It's a little bit janky. That's not the end of the world. It still works for the most part. Works really good a lot of times. But it is something I noted in my review and something I've been mentioning here and there. CactusVPN reached out to me asking me to explain this and help them understand so they can improve the product, which is really cool and honestly kind of rare in the VPN industry. Like I said, a lot of VPNs just send lawsuits my way. Like, hey, we don't like the review you did. We're not happy. You better remove that review or something like that, or we're going to sue you, which is pretty lame. They're not doing it that way, which I really appreciate. They also wanted to let me know they had some updates with the ability to favor and categorize the servers, which is nice. I don't know if they had that in the last video where I was covering them. So let's go ahead and take a look at the application and discuss, CactusVPN's, how it could improve. Now, keep in mind that CactusVPN is a really solid VPN. It's got really affordable pricing. It pretty much works with all the streaming services due to the smart DNS feature, which you just click enable. And it also gets really good speeds. It also supports WireGuard, and just alone there, that's a really solid VPN service because that's more than a lot of VPNs do. It also has really good live chat and customer support, which is really good. So this is pretty much going to satisfy all your needs, whether you're torrenting, streaming, and you just want an affordable option. Now, what they do need to work on is kind of just this general look and feel of the application, which I think could have some improvements. Already, I talked to them about the fact that it's not scaled properly on my 4K monitor and it looks a little bit blurry, but still perfectly usable. The settings and organization of the application are fine, and it's pretty easy to navigate and use properly, which isn't really a criticism I have about it. Another thing that is cool is they did add this star feature to allow you to favorite your favorite servers, view them right here, and look at these specific ones built for P2P, as well as the ability to sort servers by speed. I think you could still use any server you want for P2P. These ones are just, I don't know, maybe in different regions or something like that. We could also stop sorting there. So we're going back to here. Now, what are some of the things that I think is cool about the application? It does kind of have like a cool auto update feature. If it isn't all the way up to date, it will ask you for an update and it will update it and push any new changes to the application, which is nice. However, one thing I did notice is that it somehow kind of broke the application for me, and I had to reinstall it and configure a couple other different VPNs, remove them and stuff like that. Turned out somehow the WireGuard protocol got messed up or something like that along the way. It could have been related to some other VPN or some other WireGuard functionality with that adapter on my computer. Whatever the reason, it wasn't working for me. So I did have to kind of play around on the back end and did manage to fix it by launching a different VPN that repaired the WireGuard adapter, and then CactusVPN was working. So that was a little bit of a problem for me lately. But I did contact one of my mods on my Discord server to try it out, and he installed it without any problems, and he said he was getting really good speeds with it from right away. So that doesn't seem to be a problem for new users. I don't know what was happening in my specific use case, but some of those patterns are kind of common with some of these smaller VPN providers. I kind of encounter more problems like that, but it's just something you kind of have to work around, and I don't think it's that much of a cost. But CactusVPN, in terms of what I would like to see change the most, I think just the general kind of coloration and idea of the app and how it looks. There's not really anything right here. It looks kind of plain. The button doesn't really stand out. It doesn't really have much shadow. This kind of blends in too. It's the same kind of color. It's a really small box. The writing down here is a little bit hard to read. And that kind of same idea kind of goes throughout the application. It just feels really plain and pretty basic, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But with other competitive VPN providers out there, I think they just do it a little bit better, especially things like TorGuard coming out with a new interface. WeVPN is kind of a little bit better looking in my opinion, and they also are planning new updates. We have stuff like ProtonVPN, which looks really good too, although it is missing some fundamental features, so they're actually rated lower, but I still think it looks better. So CactusVPN team, in terms of feedback, I think maybe just kind of try to think about the UI. How can you make it pop? How can you make it look more modern? That would be my suggestion. Take, for example, something like Viper VPN. I think it has a really nice, modern, and clean interface. You have clear coloration here with this button and a different kind of color here. We have a nice little background that melds into it very nicely, and lots of coloration and easy to read fonts and stuff like that. I think it has a good, although similar interface here that I think just looks a little bit better. If we compare it to something like WeVPN, you can notice a little bit more things, like the fact that when you hover over it, it kind of lights up, which is kind of a nice touch. The box here is a little bit, provides some contrast, and this design here as well as this kind of provides it some interesting accents. And also the coloration is really nice, and you see a little bit more animations within the app. Pink lettering, pink right here, pink. It just kind of has a nice contrast with the fonts and stuff like that. We also have a light theme that's available that also is an option. And yeah, and it also has similar things here. So CactusVPN, I think those are some of the things you could work on and perhaps take a look at some of those things that other VPNs are doing right. We also have something like TorGuard, which has a brand new interface that's coming out soon, which looks really nice. They have nice contrast, a little bit of animation there, just a simple connect button, very simple, but providing you more options if you do want to go up there and look at more options. The settings, they're still working on making that look better on the end. And I do think this is actually similar to CactusVPN in terms of how it looks and feels a little bit. But again, I do think the contrast and colors are a little bit better, a little bit easier to read, just in my preference. So yeah, although it's kind of similar in that, I still think this looks a little bit better just because it's darker and brighter, and then compared to this. Overall, guys, that's my thoughts on CactusVPN and what they could improve. Overall, this service is really good and super underrated with incredible pricing. It's affordable, complete stream compatibility, really good speeds and support for WireGuard, as well as excellent customer support. Once they kind of fine-tune this application and make it more modern with some of the feedback that I talked about in this video, I think it could be very, very good indeed. All right, guys, thanks for checking this video out, and I'll see you again very soon.